Forex shortages and problems with customs clearance have been the elephants in the room in Ethiopia's economy and the government's plan to increase investment from domestic and international markets. Spontaneous rule and directive changes in custom processes, system failure in implemented e-governance platforms, and issues with forex disbursement are some of the issues mentioned in a new policy brief report released by European Chamber, a collective of more than 180 businesses that are operating in Ethiopia with European origins. The two policy briefs, namely Solving the Crunch, Recommendations for Forex Disbursement Challenges, and Optimizing Customs Processes, Key Issues to Tackle, aim to provide policy recommendations to relevant government bodies to attract foreign investment and stop the bleeding of outgoing companies from the country. During the launching event, two panel discussions were held for the respective policy briefs, with a representative from the Customs Authority challenging the result of the study and its recommendation, stating, "Most of the points raised are areas the authority has been working on in its reform for the past years." In a response, the European Chamber stated the study was conducted by interviewing relevant stakeholders and its 180-member business community who deal with the issues mentioned on a regular basis. Alongside the two policy briefs, an investment guide for Ethiopia was also presented with European Union's ambassador to Ethiopia, Roland, giving the opening remarks, stating, "The European Union is a trusted and predictable partner for Ethiopia when it comes to trade," and adding, "The EU preferential agreement on everything but arms deal as being on par with AGOA when it comes to its unilateral advantage."
Since 2021, when I came here, I do not count the number of cases, the number of times that Ethiopian investors, but also European investors came to me and shared, their challenges and shared to me and wonder why these challenges are not being overcome. European companies continue to struggle through a number of challenges related with the insufficient access and availability of Forex. I think this is no longer an elephant in the room, it is a dinosaur in the room. Everybody talks about that in town, right? They also face unsystematic customs valuations, strenuous tax audit processes that aim at extracting, I have to say, unfair advantages from the investors. Investors who also face corruption at different levels, and that hinder their operations instead of facilitating them.
The policy briefs were produced by the European Chamber in Ethiopia in collaboration with the EU-funded technical assistance for business environment and investment climate, including e-governance projects, and was implemented by the German Development Agency, GIZ. Just down the road from Yared School of Music, a group is performing traditional and contemporary dances in a youth center. What makes this dance group unique is it has multiple youths that are persons with disabilities, and it is called Katim Disability Awareness and Support. Here, they are performing in front of the British ambassador to Ethiopia, Mr. Darren Welch. The occasion of the moment is the coinciding events of the International Days of Persons with Disabilities and the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, in which the contemporary dance routine the group performed was showcasing to the attending guests. The British Embassy has stated the reason for the visit to the youth center is to promote disability inclusion and empower local disability awareness advocates. Adding to that, the ambassador was shown the difficulties the group members face in order to attend practice, which currently involves climbing 3 flights of stairs. Speaking during the event, Mr. Darren Welch emphasized the need to design services which can meet the needs of persons with disabilities and his government's readiness to support development that helps in inclusion. He continued to praise the group on their performance and storytelling.
And they dance with such expression and grace and elegance and wonderful storytelling. I think it was hard not to be moved by the strong story that they told us this morning. So we're here today, and I can't think of a better place to be to mark the International Day for People Living with Disabilities, which comes during the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And we know that there are perhaps more than 1.3 billion people globally who are living with a disability. That's 16% of the global population and 20% of all women. And we simply can't meet our objectives on building a fairer, more inclusive, sustainable world unless we meet the needs of people who are living with disabilities. And we can all make a difference. And here in this place, this wonderful centre in Ethiopia, you are making a big difference, and I commend that.
African Renaissance Television Services caught up with one of the manager of CATM Disability Awareness and Support and had discussions about the group's purpose and the challenges they face.
We always practice here. There are a lot of youth around here, so we climb up 3 floors to practice in this hall. It might be tiring and lacks comfort, but this here is a place where we can reach our goal. We mainly work with youth and children that are persons with disabilities. And in this group, weight gain can be a lot of problem. So people come here not only for the art, but also for the health benefits they can have. But even though persons with disabilities want to use the 140 available youth centers in Addis Ababa, they are unable to because the buildings are not inclusive in their design. That is why we need to think about inclusivity when we build these centers, especially when we consider that there are an estimated 20 million people living with disabilities in the country. Inclusivity needs to be mandatory, not just a thought we might need to have for the sake of it.
ይሄ ማለት ለኦኬ አካል ጉዳተኞች እናካት በሚል እንትን ደረጃ ሳይሆን በቃ ግዴታ መሆን አለበት።